How I happened to get into the profession is probably an accident. That doesn't help anyone that's watching this at this time. I was in the Marine Corps, was released from the Marine Corps as the Korean War ended. I came home. I had been attending the University of Utah, and I continued to attend the University of Utah, and I was working part-time and had worked in various and sundry jobs. And I frankly was going to apply, or I did apply to become a newspaper writer because of my previous training. I wanted to be a sports writer. And I also entertained being a radio announcer, disc jockey. But along the way, I was offered a job during the 50s with a stockbroker who was looking for someone to be what they call a stock trader. I won't go into any detail on what a stock trader is, but specifically that's the person who actually takes care of the transactions on a daily, hourly, and minute-by-minute basis. And that was in 1954, and here I am, 54 years later, still an investment counselor. And so I was very fortunate to fall into it that way, and I'm very proud to have the profession I have. In the early days of the business, I had a very interesting experience. I was calling on lots of people and not having wonderful success. And I had a telephone call, and it was a medical doctor. He called me on the phone, and he said that his stockbroker and investment counselor had moved to Chicago, and he wanted to get a new investment counselor, and he would like me to come and visit with him. I think I was about 31 years old at that time, and so I went to see the doctor. And as I was invited into his office, and he looked up at me, and he said, "Oh, you're nothing but a kid." And, of course, I immediately felt very small and inadequate. But I continued to talk to the doctor and tell him what I could do for him and how I could counsel him and do well for him in his investment portfolio. And he said, "Sure, kid. Yeah, kid." Every time I said anything, he said, "Yeah, okay, kid." After about 4 minutes, he said, "Well, thank you, kid. I'll give you a call if I decide I want you as a stockbroker." So I left, and very discouraged, very deflated, and wondered if I was in the right profession. After about a week, I got a little bit over my hurt and decided to write the doctor a letter. And I wrote him a letter, and I told him how much I appreciated him meeting with me. And I told him that I recognized that he didn't think I was very qualified yet. But I told him I was with a firm that had many qualified people, and the head of our firm was very qualified, and if we had any concerns, he would be able to back me up and give him the service he deserved. And I signed the letter and thanked him once again for seeing me. About 4 days later, he called me on the phone and said, "Kid, I want you to be my investment counselor." And that's what happened. And to the day he died, which was some 40 years later, he called me kid. I didn't care from then on, but that just shows the importance of service and communication.